Welcome, everybody. My name is Benjamin Juárez Echenique. I'm the director of the Center for Mexican Studies of the National University of Mexico, UNAM, in Boston. And it's my distinct pleasure today to announce the launching of a 5-part introductory course to the Baroque Guitar, to the Spanish Baroque Guitar, by Professor Eloy Cruz. This is a joint effort from UNAM's School of Music, Facultad de Música de la Universidad Nacional Autónoma de México, and of UNAM Boston. And the motive of this 5-part course is to allow students and instructors of music and guitar, Baroque music, from the Northeast and across the US or the Spanish-speaking world, to allow their students to know more about the history and the performance of this instrument that is regaining the role it had, the preeminent role it had during the Baroque period. So welcome, Eloy, and congratulations on this wonderful initiative. Hi, my name is Benjamin Juárez Echenique. I'm the director of the Center for Mexican Studies of the National University of Mexico in the city of Boston. And today it's my distinct pleasure to introduce to you all Professor Eloy Cruz. He's a distinguished guitarist and full professor at the School of Music, Facultad de Música of the National University of Mexico in Mexico City. His expertise is very unique because he's not only a gifted guitarist trained in the classical tradition, but he has done research on these two, people would say, very different parts of the guitar that at the end nurture one another. On one hand is the Baroque guitar, the first international instrument that was popular not only in Spain, but all over France, Germany, Italy, and of course the New World, very soon around the globe. And on the different instruments and techniques and rhythms of Mexican music from the Gulf Coast of Veracruz, the son de Sotavento, that really started from the traditions of the Spanish guitar from the Spanish Peninsula, but created another territory, I would say, more grounded on the sea, on the Atlantic, and across the Mediterranean than in any particular geography inland, and that allowed the music to travel from Chile to Spain, from Italy to Mexico, from Tampico to the German and French and English music halls and royal halls. So without further ado, because there has been so much interest among students at Boston University, Boston Conservatory, and other schools in the Northeast to understand more about the Baroque guitar and its traditions, its role in continuo playing, and its repertoire, we have this great expert on the subject, Maestro Eloy Cruz. Bienvenido.
Thank you very much. Certainly, I am Eloy Cruz. I am a guitar and chamber music teacher at the Facultad de Música, the music school at the University of Mexico. And the idea of this little course was to show the general public this very special instrument that we call the Baroque guitar, that is extremely significant, although it's supposed to be a dead instrument, an instrument that was in fashion several centuries ago, but that has this kind of magical history that has kept it alive. It was born in Spain, probably in late 15th century, and was in general used until the last years of the 18th, probably the very first years of the 19th century, and then supposedly just disappeared, and other types of guitar were used instead. But it's not true. It didn't die. It didn't disappear. It exactly like a Latin language that is considered a deaf tongue, which never really disappeared, but just transformed itself into many different languages, the Romance language. And that's why Mexicans are just like anyone in Latin America are called Latinos, because we speak Latin, a certain form of Latin. Exactly in the same way, this Baroque instrument, the Baroque guitar, instead of disappeared, transformed itself in many different instruments all over Latin America. And it not only survived, but became one of the icons of each one of the different societies that still use them. For example, the charango in the Andean region, the cuatro in Venezuela, or well, many other instruments all over Latin America. But in Mexico, it was just like magic. It didn't become one single traditional instrument. It became many. One single instrument coming from Spain became dozens, literally, of different traditional guitars, which are characteristic of every kind of Mexican traditional music, and are used in this country ever since probably the 16th century. The mariachi music, for example, is usually played with two different kinds of traditional guitars, the jarana, or guitarra de golpe, which is a big guitar, and one smaller vihuela, which are just the guitars commonly used in the mariachi music. And it's very important because mariachi music has become one of the, along with tequila, have become one of the icons of Mexican culture all over the world. There are mariachis in Europe, in several parts of Asia, in Korea, in Japan, I think even in China. And in this way, the Baroque guitar that originated in Spain came to Mexico and now is a popular instrument in many, many parts of the world. In this little course, what we try to do is to show the history of this instrument, the Baroque guitar, how it was born in Spain, how it came to Mexico, and how it transformed itself into different traditional instruments. We tried to show its history, its the iconography, the way or the ways it's constructed, the way it's tuned, its notation, and very significantly, the ways it's played. The Baroque guitar can be played in two different ways: the strumming or rasgado, and the plucked way, the common way of the classical guitar. In this case, the strummed style, which is, I can say, the natural or native tongue of the guitar, became one of the most important features of its music, and is the way how it's played in the traditional music of Mexico and Latin America, and therefore the way it's played, for example, in the mariachi music. Guitars are always strummed in this style of music, and how this very simple feature that seems to be easy, which is not, has formatted the music of the Baroque guitar, which is called son. For example, the son jarocho, which is also famous in many parts of the world, not only in Mexico, and how this very simple, apparently simple feature of this instrument, idiomatic feature, became crucial in the creation of not only a musical style, but a musical culture that has been very important in the history of our countries in Latin America and probably abroad.
That's wonderful, because in this course, Eloy, you not only give the story and the genesis of the Baroque guitar, but you also have examples for people to try on, no matter if they are guitar players or they put their hands for the first time. And one of the first things that I would like to ask you, just to increase the interest in this 5-part course, is why the Baroque guitar has 5 strings, and as you were saying, in the strumming tradition, it has more of a rhythmic than a melodic role in an ensemble, be it playing continuo in a group like you have played with La Fontegara for many years, or you have played with Jordi Sabal and many other groups in Mexico and abroad. And the although it's very sophisticated and it appears to be easier than it is, it could be a good introduction for guitarists to explore other career possibilities, not only playing solo guitar, but also playing continuo. And I think that is priceless. And also playing different traditions.
Yes, what I have found about the Baroque guitar is that it's a very organic instrument. It has only 5 courses, have 5 pairs of strings, not 6 like the modern guitar, and it probably in all cases in Latin America have this kind of tuning that we call reentrant, which means that the instrument has no bass strings, and the open strings are very close to one another in terms of the pitch. For example, in a common Baroque guitar with reentrant tuning, the distance between the open strings is only 1/6, not 2 octaves like in modern guitar. So the sounds are very close together, and when you play a chord, the sounds are very close to one another. With this reentrant tuning, you do not have the problem of root position or first inversion, second inversion, whatever. It's almost a magical thing that you have one chord which is not inverted and is not in root position, because all the notes are very, very close to one another. So it's very interesting that apparently in its early history, the Baroque guitar, just as most of the modern forms in Latin America, had only 4 frets in the fingerboard, which means that it was intended or specialized in strumming. So the strumming was the basic language of the instrument, and that's why it shaped its music, because the music is created on top of this idea of strumming. This creates a perfect support, rhythmic and harmonic support for anything that you want to build on top. So that's why most of the music from Spain, the music that was identified as Spanish or of Spanish root in Baroque Europe and America, is based upon repetitive patterns. The idea is very simple. You play a pattern on the Baroque guitar, which you repeat time and again and again and again, a ground, and then on top of this ground you improvise, or well, people can improvise with other instruments or singing, and can also dance. And that is the basis of this kind of music, which is called the son in Mexico and other parts of Latin America, just as it was called in 17th century Spain. And that's why the clearly Spanish music in the Baroque period is based on these grounds And it's a very, very important part of the Baroque repertoire. For example, the chacona, the pasacalle, the sarabanda, and the folia. If we take out these forms from the Baroque repertoire, we will lose a very important and significant part of the Baroque music. So that's why this is crucial in the development of our culture today, and it happened in the 17th century. So it's one of the magical things that this instrument has, that at least in my experience, it connects me in a very immediate way with the past, and it also connects me with many people around the world. And in my experience, I have been able to play this kind of music, this Hispanic music, with many people in Mexico, in Latin America, in the USA, and in Europe. And we find always this kind of bond, these things that puts out us together, like speaking the same language, even if we cannot understand the language that we speak commonly. Someone can speak English or German or Spanish, but musically we are speaking the same language, and we are just like in some kind of brotherhood of music that joins us together.
Thank you so much, Eloy. And I mean, we can see that in all the beautiful music and paintings and engravings of Spanish guitars in Germany, Italy, France, all over the world. So we hope also that our colleagues, guitar instructors throughout the US or anywhere in the world, can use these materials to introduce their students to the history and technique of the Spanish Baroque guitar, very different from the classical guitar in the, let's say, Segovia tradition, much richer, I would say. And also, I would like just before closing to ask you if you would be willing to tutor students from abroad. How can they get in touch with you to ask for private lessons or questions about the materials in these 5 brief introductory classes that you have put together for them?
Well, one of the very few things of this pandemic we are living right now is this general use of this media, Zoom, Skype, etc., for teaching. I have never tried this before. I have a lot of teaching work at the university, but it was always in the classroom. But now we can use this virtual classroom to teach all over the world. So I would be very happy to find people who would like to learn about the Baroque guitar and the living instruments that keep it active today through classes and online. Of course, I would be more than happy to do that.
Excellent. Well, we put at the end of this short introduction your contact information. And again, congratulations. Thank you so much for doing this wonderful work. And I hope everybody enjoys these wonderful, unique materials, because we are going to discover a completely different, amazing instrument that feels at home in the Baroque and in traditional music of much of Latin America and the Caribbean. Felicidades, Eloy.
Thank you very much.